Who are we calling today? Oh, Jimmie's lawyer. Welcome to BJ Investigates, a show I just created and might never do again. Now, before we get into the actual substance of today's video, I do just want to make a quick additional disclaimer on top of the already disclaimers I make all the time all over the place in writing in this very video. This video is meant to inform the public on an issue of public concern and public interest. This video is not meant to incite any type of hate or any mean comments or anything towards anybody else. Actually, in fact, I'm asking you not to direct any hate. Please do not direct any mean comments or any hatred or any bad vibes towards anybody else. This story is merely to promote transparency, and you'll see the other reasons as we go. So recently we have been doing like one video pretty much per week on this channel. At least that's our goal. And we try to aim for Thursdays or Fridays. Don't hold us to it because we reserve the right to change our mind any moment, anytime, any day. So I don't know. I really the true reason is I feel like it is restrictive if I make, promises. Then it feels like work. I don't want to feel like work. I want it to feel like fun. So if you were here on last week's episode, then you probably did see, the video was about Jimmie Lee and how one of my personal friends did have the, let's say, opportunity to go and be a patient of his. Now, I'm not going to rehash the whole video, but you might have also noticed that video is no longer viewable to you as a member of the public. So today I wanted to get a little bit into what really happened and what transpired since last week's video. Now, the very first thing I want to say, put it out front, is that Jimmie and my friend have reached an amicable solution. It does seem that both of the parties are happy with it. I am not privy to the exact terms of their agreement. What their solution is, I really don't know, and it's not the point of today's video. But I would like to say that I have been informed by Jimmie's lawyer that he is going to be issuing a refund. If you saw my last video, you know what the refund talk is all about. Now, unfortunately, it wasn't just all smooth sailing to that resolution, and some shenanigans definitely took place before that agreement could have been reached by the two parties. And it definitely involved Jimmie making numerous legal threats. So let's get into it. Do not send any hate to anybody mentioned in this video. Do not send any mean comments to anybody mentioned in this video. It's not the purpose of today's video. The purpose of today's video is to report on issues of public concern about people who are in the public eye and who are in the public domain. Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine, whatever the day of the week it is, wherever you are and whatever you're doing? I did just want to give a brief shout out before we get started with the video to my new merch. I really like it. It's my favorite merch so far, I think. And it is a Real Tree TM branded, what's it called? Camouflage. It is a Real Tree. It is a Real Tree print camouflage hoodie. Very nice, very sturdy with, we'll put a picture up, picture right here. We these people with a little star. And interesting fact about this particular model of the merch is that all these colors are taken directly from the color numbers on my That Surprise Witness streaming setup. Like these are the exact same colors. You know, there's numbers, what I call Pantone numbers, same ones, little Easter egg. We have another color too, we'll put a picture or whatever, but I just wanted to shout that out. If you want, we're only doing limited. There's limited merch. Just said that for a limited edition merch announcement. If you want this in time for the December 25th holiday, then I would invite you to make sure your order is in by December 6th. We're going to ship them out on December 12th, so you should have them in time if you want to give the gift that everyone wants this season. So if you caught last week's video, then you did see that it was about Jimmie Lee, aka Dr. James Weiner, aka the Jersey Outlaw. Now, in last week's video, I did discuss with y'all that I actually had a personal friend who had the occasion to go and actually be one of Dr. Jimmie Lee's patients. I'm not going to rehash that whole video. That's not the purpose of today's video. The purpose of today's video is to talk about something else. If you've been around my channel since that video premiered, you might also notice that the video is no longer up on my channel. In today's video, I want to get into what really all transpired, which had put me in a position to have to take that video down. Before we get into all of those details, I do want to put the most important one, in my opinion, up front, which is Jimmie's lawyer has told me that he intends to issue a full refund. Now, I am not looking into the terms of their agreement with each other about a refund or anything like that, but I will let y'all know if, anything major happens on that front. But I have reason to believe Jimmie intends to refund my friend, so I think that is great, and I do want to thank him for doing the right thing in that instance. So it's a good outcome, and I think it's the right thing to do. I think he did the right thing in that, like I said, in that case. But unfortunately, it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies getting to that point. Unfortunately, there were quite a few bumps in the road along the way. And so I'm just now going to tell y'all what really happened, resulting in me having to take that video down or make it private. And yeah, I don't know. I just really want to tell y'all because it's a public story about public people. So let's get into what has transpired since that last video. So I premiered the Jimmie Lee video on this channel, BJ Investigates, at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, November, I don't know, whatever, we'll put it up here. And so I premiered it on Friday, 3:45 p.m., so it was like in the afternoon. By the next day, like I don't even think a full 24 hours had gone by before I'm informed that Jimmie is threatening my friend with legal action because of my video. So he's trying to get her to take down the video. It was very, very confusing to me what his problem with the video even was. It was like seventh hand information by the time it got to me. And so I was like, this is just too much drama. It's too much to try and figure out. He's talking about lawsuits and legal threats. So I said, look, let me just talk to Jimmie. Let me get his number, or you can give him my number so we can talk. I don't even know what his problem could possibly be, because to be honest, I thought I was pretty fair with Jimmie in the video, to be honest. All kind of stuff I found I didn't even bother to mention because it wasn't really the important part of the story. To me, the important parts of the story are what I actually featured, but like I could have gone way in on Jimmie. And if you just take a browse around this channel, you'll see that Jimmie actually got almost like a preferential treatment. Like I was almost like a fan of Jimmie compared to what I'm usually doing in these videos whenever I'm criticizing people. I ain't even gonna get into all the reasons why, but I did take like specific steps to be very, very almost nice to Jimmie, whereas I usually would just be neutral or, you know, maybe biased, but I'm usually trying to tell y'all when I'm biased and stuff like that. But I thought it was a pretty mild video for what I am capable of and for what I could have done in his specific instance, but apparently he still was mad about it. So one thing leads to another. I end up getting Jimmie's number, and finally by like Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, just like the day after the video came out, and the video is still up at that time, I sent him a text to his phone, and I say, I'm paraphrasing right now, it said something like, hey Jimmie, it's BJ. Meet me tomorrow at this breakfast diner. I live in New Jersey too. So I'm like, hey, Jimmie, it's BJ. Obviously, he knows who that is. Meet me tomorrow at this breakfast place, 10:30 a.m. to discuss your concerns. Because in my mind, I think it's going to be way better if we can just sit down in person. I can tell him where I'm coming from. He can tell me where he's coming from. Because if he's going to be threatening to sue people over something I did, I'm now involved. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to nip it, frankly, in the bud. So I text him and I ask him if he wants to meet up for breakfast the next day. I mean, the man's already going to diners every Sunday, apparently, according to him.
We're patrons from here, from Mogus, and we've been coming about several years. We come after Mass. We go to Mass, and we come here as like a Sunday ritual. And we have a crowd of friends that we've met and developed here, friendships. Jimmie's one of them. And he calls us the Righteous Brothers. We're the Righteous Brothers. Because we go to church.
So it's like I thought I was doing something in his wheelhouse. I thought he would be excited to come and discuss his concerns. I mean, I could have said, no, f you. I mean, I don't know. I'm all the time. Here I am thinking I'm being nice. He immediately starts texting me back. But it was Saturday night. I was kind of a little preoccupied doing a little other stuff. It wasn't like my number one only priority. I mean, it was pretty high, but you know what I mean? I didn't see the text like immediately, and I didn't expect him to text me back immediately because I figured he would run it through lawyers and stuff. I don't know. I should never have predicted what Jimmie, Jersey Outlaw, was going to do because y'all, it wasn't even, I think, like 10 seconds after I sent the text. He was already texting me back, but I didn't see it. Then I guess because I didn't respond to his texts literally immediately, he started calling, and I was busy. I was out. So I texted him. I'm like, I'm at dinner. He sends back, K. And then he starts begging me to take the video down. I already told him, I think I made it pretty clear, I can't talk about this right now. I thought it was a little bit disrespectful that he kept pushing after I said I'm not available, but it's fine, whatever. I can understand his concern or whatever, but I'm sorry, it's Saturday night, I'm busy, I'm doing stuff, whatever. So I had told him, and I thought reasonably, let's meet tomorrow morning for breakfast, we'll talk it out. So I'm like, you know what, I'll just text him in the morning. I go about my night, I end up going to sleep, wake up the next morning, and it's like 7:30 in the morning. Maybe it's not even 7:30, it might be like 7:21 or something, 7:26, who knows. And Jimmie he's changed his tactics. At first he was begging and groveling. Now I don't know if it's a different altar done infested him this morning or what, but a whole new Jimmie came out, and he had an all caps text message talking about FYI. Video is still up. Next steps is going to my attorney's office to file a suit or something. And I'm like, just thinking to myself, like, okay, first of all, guy, like, you won't be the first one to unsuccessfully silence me with a meritless, frivolous lawsuit. That's my first thought. Second of all, how you gonna FYI and tell me that my video is still up like I didn't know that? You're not going to file nothing at the courthouse at 7:30 on a Sunday. No, you are not. It's just like all this stuff, and it's just like unnecessary escalation. It was unnecessary. And I'm not particularly proud of the next few steps I took, although I do think it was justified. Something came over me. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of like meditating and breathing and stuff. And it's like, I thought this, what I did, I cussed Jimmie out so bad on the phone, y'all. I mean, what you are not going to do is call my house or text my phone on a Sunday and threaten me with litigation. It's already bad enough that you did. You're using the Atlantic City mafia tactics that your daddy and your uncle taught you. And guess what, baby? I know how those work. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of your punk lawyer for sure. It was just aggravating to me. And I think now I do have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder about people trying to threaten me into silence. I mean, we first saw it with Lou Taylor, and then we saw, when she came to my law firm, Lou Taylor, Britney Spears' business manager at the time, try to hire my law firm to make me stop making videos about her, threatening me with my livelihood. Then, we had Brian Kuchar, who didn't want me to make a video about him, so he bought a business in my name. So he squatted on my business name in Georgia, and he filed a phony restraining order in an attempt to get me to not talk about him, which was very threatening and an abuse of the legal system. And so there's been other cases as well where people are literally abusing me with the legal system to try and silence me. And not one time ever in any of those instances have I done anything wrong, including and especially in this Jimmie Lee situation. And so I don't know, I think I was just triggered. I cussed him out. I'll insert a few of the highlights of the call, but essentially he hung up in my face. And I took it as extortion. In my opinion, it meets all the requirements. I mean, innocent till proven guilty. I'm not planning on suing Jimmie for extortion, to be clear, but I just felt very bullied and threatened. And then he started sending me text messages like, I'm going to have my lawyer deal with you. Not deal with it, not deal with the issue. No. Deal with you. And I just took that to be some of the like mafia, mob tactics that he learned from his uncle and his daddy in Atlantic City. That's what I took it to be. But I'm not scared. And I told him, I let him know I wasn't scared. But I just asked for clarification. Is it a threat? Because he's sending text messages about his lawyer dealing with me. I didn't like that, didn't appreciate it, and I don't think you should text anybody else with terminology like that. It felt very threatening. That's just, I'm walking y'all through it as I was going. This is kind of like, chronological. And like I said earlier, it came as a huge shock to me that he would even have any problem at all with this video other than, maybe me talking about the patient story and stuff like that. But from my perspective, that's no different than just an online review or a review to your friend, a word of mouth review. And so it didn't even cross my mind that he could even possibly try to do any kind of legal action from that. And I even asked him on the phone, what exactly do you think you have grounds to sue for? What did I do? What are you going to sue for exactly? Who are you going to sue? Why are you going to sue? You can't sue. He didn't have an answer. He said he can't talk no more and he had to get off the phone or something. He hung up on me. But anyway, so it was surprising to me that he had any issue with the video at all though. Like beyond does he have legal grounds to sue? It seemed to me based on how he acts in public all the time that he was more than open to people commenting and criticizing him because he subjects himself to it on purpose in front of thousands and thousands of people.
All right, we got Jimmie on the phone. This is our comedian that needs help.
Okay.
He's actually a very successful dentist. He owns different dentistry offices. Stavros is actually a very successful comedian.
Strides.
So, Jim,
You know how good I'm doing? You know how good my show's doing?
how's that?
No, I'm the only guy that knows about it.
Right. A little old-timey humor.
I see.
No.
Don't push. Don't push.
Oh, I don't.
He doesn't like follow-up questions.
The mark of a good joke. It stands up to zero scrutiny whatsoever.
He's a public figure, all that. And all the stuff in my video, other than my friend's personal anecdote story or whatever, everything else in the video was public knowledge or public stuff that Jimmie himself said publicly. Like, he had a whole series on YouTube like 7 years ago called One Up Dentist, and it was based on his life and it was filmed in his office.
Hey, I'm one fucked up dentist.
I thought it was everybody knew it. And the people who were starring in the show with him, a lot of them still work at the office with him. So I thought it was common knowledge what this man was up to online. I thought it was common knowledge. He's out here publicly referring to himself as a up dentist, publicly saying that he doesn't even like being a dentist, doesn't get any fulfillment out of it.
And Jimmy, you told me you make $15,000 a day at your dentistry.
I told him that. That's true. And I said, we have 2 teeth left. You can move to Kentucky. And he said, no. Now after you worked on the 2, I only have 1.
No, I don't have the balls to leave my job for this because I'm not making money.
It doesn't have any purpose doing it and all this stuff and dwindling this and that. And I don't even know why he would be worried about his reputation as a dentist from something I said when he's been out here saying it for literally years before I ever even had a YouTube channel.
Hey, I'm one fucked up dentist.
I still frankly never got to the bottom line of what exactly he had an issue with. He just was concerned about his reputation, I guess. So I didn't get like a straight answer on whether or not what he had said was a threat. And to be honest, I didn't fully think it was, but Jimmie has said publicly that he grew up kind of like in the mafia.
Grew up down by Atlantic City.
I gotta say, his culture is really Atlantic City, and I don't consider that exactly South Jersey. He's like a Atlantic City person.
Here's resorts 40 years ago. I was a little kid, 10, 11 years old. They opened in the late 70s.
Growing up in Atlantic City when we were young seemed to me at the time like a normal childhood.
You know, like his dad and uncle were running like scams in Atlantic City, according to his own documentary.
If you look at Atlantic City, Absecon Island, my father's father handled the south part of Atlantic City, and my mother's father handled the inlet or the north side of Atlantic City, both doing the same thing. Illicit gambling, racketeering, and they had us convinced as kids that this is normal.
And so I'm like, that's close to where I live. I'm not trying to get into a lawsuit with Jimmie. Really, it's the last thing I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to sue him for anything. I'm not alleging that he did any crimes or anything like that. I really am not. But I'm just walking y'all through what went on, the story, right? And so at that exact moment, I was not 100% sure, because I mean, Jimmie's really unpredictable. What he meant when he said he was going to have his lawyer deal with me. I don't know who this lawyer is. Now, I ended up talking to the lawyer, and spoiler alert, the lawyer was pleasant and delightful. But at the time, I had no idea. So I wasn't going to go to the police. I wasn't going to call and report Jimmie to the cops, but I did want some type of assurances that people did know that this was happening in case something did go down for the reasons I just mentioned. So I do the best that I can to alert people that this is going on. And so I go on That Surprise Witness, I went on this channel on BJ Investigates community posts, and I posted what was going on. I also posted it to That Surprise Witness community. I just reposted it. And then I also posted it to Instagram because my audiences are different on those 3. It wasn't just a few minutes after I did that. He was then texting me again. Remember, the last text I got from him were, my lawyer's going to deal with you and all that. Extortion, in my opinion. But the next text after I started alerting people on community was, can we please put this to rest? Which I did want to do. I wasn't the one threatening litigation. I did have 1 or 2 more Jimmie Lee related videos in the tank, that maybe I could do and I still may do. But it wasn't like all about Jimmie. One of them's about, I don't want to give it away, but they weren't about Jimmie Lee like that. It was just kind of side stories that kind of related to him, but not really. But yeah, I mean, I had no intention of like continuing like a Jimmie Lee like content for the rest of my life. It was really a kind of dead end. I just wanted to tell y'all a few things about it. So it was really Jimmie who was kind of escalating this by threatening litigation. I wasn't trying to go there with him. You know what I mean? So then he sends me this text. After I start posting on community, then he sends me this text that says, can we put this to rest? And I'm like, I don't exactly remember what I said next, but the gist was, just let me talk to your lawyer. Just tell him to call me today, which he eventually did do. So about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, I did speak with Jimmie's lawyer, and thank God the man knows how to act. I mean, really seriously, he was very professional. I was shocked because I have been on the other side of the table with a lot of lawyers now, and I'm talking about ones from all kind of elite institutions and firms and this and that and all these resumes and all this fancy shit and all this. And don't get me wrong, this guy's a great resume as well and all that, but they don't know how to act. They also unnecessarily escalate. They don't talk like they actually talking to a real person. I don't know. The guy was good. I did check out his website, and it does look like he may be, defending sex crimes and stuff, but like, it's not the job I would do. However, I've seen it happen before where people are wrongfully accused, and they do deserve good representation too. So whatever the case may be, I don't know how his lawyering is. I don't know his history and his background and all that, but what I can tell you is he had some of the best negotiation skills I ever saw in the industry since I first went to law school, since I was interviewing to go to law school. The man knows how to act. I gotta tip my hat off to him, and I think it might be biased a little bit because I was expecting a complete goon. I was expecting a clown to hide hop out the clown car on that call. And really, he was very reasonable. He acknowledged and seemed to agree with me. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he seemed to agree with me that I did have the right to comment on issues of public concern. He's actually the one who told me on the call that he would be kind of orchestrating and helping Jimmie to make sure that the refund was issued and all that. So that's great. And I'm very happy to hear that. It was a pleasant interaction with the guy and all of that. So, I mean, maybe I'm just so used to people just being absolutely horrible and demented, deranged, and depraved that like anybody with any half little bit of human decency and sense and decorum is just super impressive to me now. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. But thank God Jimmie had that guy. That's what I'll say. So I think the bottom line for this section of the video is just to reiterate that I don't do well with threats. I don't respond well to threats. You will never ever get the outcome that you are hoping to get if you threaten me. It's never going to happen. I will never ever remove a video or a statement that I'm allowed to make because of somebody's legal threats. Never. It will never happen. Never. And unfortunately, in this type of situation, this is where I have to stand my ground. The reason for that is it's a very, very bad precedent to set. It's a bad precedent for me to set because think about all the people who don't like me uncovering what they're doing. Think about all the people who just simply don't like anybody on YouTube talking about what they're doing. All these public figures out here doing stuff with public funds and people in the public and trying to become public and all of that. It's like, it's just a terrible precedent. So anytime somebody don't like what I'm doing, if they have enough audacity to threaten to sue me, I'm gonna take a video down. No, it's not gonna be able to happen that way. And I gotta leave a few signs in the road and let people know that's how it's gonna have to go. And it's not just like, oh, I have a job to do and this is what I'm doing here. No, YouTube is an extension of the public square for free speech. This is where we exercise our speech. And of course, there's always gonna be community guidelines and things that you have to follow, which I'm happy to do. But in general, like as a principle of government enforcement, which is what you're doing when you initiate a lawsuit, you can't stop people from talking about their opinion or the truth. You just can't. And, you can try, you can sue, but it's a bad precedent if I just fold every time somebody want to threaten me with a lawsuit. I have to teach a lesson to y'all. I'm just so sorry. Now, for what it's worth, I do think, and I must say, that I think Jimmie did do ultimately the right thing by refunding the money and not suing anyone and kind of chilling out a little bit. But, those initial reactions were just uncalled for and I think unnecessarily escalated, like I said. And to kind of close this part up, just to be very, very, very clear, I think it was wrong and heinous and inappropriate for Jimmie to ever threaten to sue a patient for simply talking about their experience with him. I don't think that was right. I don't agree with it. I think it was low and dirty. That being said, since Jimmie did threaten to sue a patient in such a way, and again, they've reached an agreement, don't send any hate to anybody. It seems like everything's been worked out amicably over there, and I am happy to hear it. But out of an abundance of caution, I have decided to redact and remove the parts of the video that did feature the commentary and the story about my friend. The reason I did that is twofold. Number one, Jimmie threatened to sue her. Number two, I don't want to bring any more turmoil and problems into her life as a result of this interaction with this man than she's already had. So that is the reason that I am removing it. Yes, it is a little bit because Jimmie threatened me, but it also is because he's not really threatening me. It's kind of a threat to somebody else. Again, they have worked it out. They seem to be just fine with what the terms are and all of that. I think there's a refund involved and all of that. I genuinely believe, and I'm genuinely telling y'all, it's fine. She's fine. Everybody's fine. It's all fine. But what I cannot do out of an integrity, and I told Jimmie's lawyer this, I said, I cannot set that precedent. I'm going to have to make a statement of why I had to redact and change that video. And he understood, again, has sense. Thank you. Yeah, and if Jimmie does end up watching this, I just want to let him know, there's really no hard feelings. I really don't dislike Jimmie in and of himself. I think even in some ways, I actually do respect what he's doing. I don't love his style of comedy, and I certainly think a lot of his jokes are, fill in the blank and put ist at the end, all right? Inappropriate, and it's not my style of humor. But that being said, just like I said in the last video, and maybe it'll still make it somehow in this video, but just to reiterate, I do not think that he should lose his license. I do not think that he should not be able to tell his bad jokes on the internet, because guess what? Some people think the stuff I do is bad jokes. Some people think of me how we might think of Jimmie. And I should be allowed to talk. So should Jimmie. So I'm not even mad that Jimmie's out here trying to kind of be an artist and a professional at the same time. In a lot of ways, I really do respect what he's doing. He's still going after his goals and his dreams in later years than a lot of people have given up on goals and dreams. In a lot of ways, I admire that, and I aspire to also keep my hopes and dreams intact when I'm like 67 or however old the man is. But all that said, Jimmie, listen, if you're watching this, all right, no hard feelings. This really is fine. But you have said publicly it's the number one goal in your life is you want to be famous. This is just part of being famous. It comes with the territory. There's no famous people out here who don't have a whole pack of haters. And listen, you have been on what, Newsmax, Bobby Lee, you've been at LA Mag, you've been featured in publications for years and years, and you really, frankly, are way more famous than me. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm way less famous than you. And there's entire communities online devoted to and dedicated to one singular purpose, which is hating me and slandering me. And they actually lie about me.
Fame is not always what it's set out to be.
They Photoshop stuff to make it look like I said so. It's deranged. I could sue them. It is probably criminal what they're doing. It is certainly defamatory what they do. But you know what? I gotta let them just say it. Because if I start trying to go after every person who says a lie about me, I'm gonna be spending all of my time doing reputation control instead of doing all of my time doing what I love to do and what my purpose is to do. And I just think that you should just remember that. You cannot be both things. You cannot be famous and in complete control of the narrative. I mean, even from a PR perspective, it's a pretty bad idea to ask somebody to take their video down about you. If it's not true, then let them go find you, figure it out themselves, and make their own decision about whether or not you doing what you're doing or not. But I think really the issue is you want to have a foot in both pools or whatever. You know, you want to straddle the line. You can't be like a full-scale traditional dentist with a traditional dentist reputation and a full-scale internet celebrity. Like one of them's going to have to bend to the other. I'm not saying you can't do both. I'm saying you can't be a traditional dentist with a traditional reputation. And maybe it is be a social media dentist where everyone who comes to you kind of knows what they're getting into or whatever. You know what I mean? Like no hard feelings, but you just can't sue everybody who says something you don't like. It's going to be counterproductive to your mission. You're going to run out of money. And it's just, you're not going to ever get famous like you want to if you don't just let people make a YouTube video here and there. Again, I've removed the parts at issue. I'm happy to do so. No harm, no foul. Rest of the video is going back up. Love you, mean it. You know what I mean? Final little point I wanted to make. I kind of already made this point. But if you're in a situation where there's a lot of different goals and a lot of different people's like end goals are very different, the best way to approach it is not going to be too threatened. Okay, it's just not. Because then what if they just say no? You know what I mean? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Threaten them to, you're going to show up there? How are you going to follow through with it? I think the best way to deal with it is how the lawyer in this case and me dealt with it, which is thinking about everyone's interests involved and considering each person's proclivities and dispositions, we'll say. And I personally, one of my biggest end goals was to remove any liability from anyone else and just kind of like, I'm the one who made the video. So if anybody's going to be being threatened, it needs to be me because I made the video. You know what I mean? That was my main issue, which is fine. So I took out those parts. Here's my statement. This is the statement. This is what happened. I know some of y'all in my comments were curious on where's the video and what happened, this and that. And this is the story for that. So have a happy, maybe you're going to be gathering around with your family for the next days or your chosen family, loved ones, pets, etc., whoever, whatever. Maybe you're just going to be watching Netflix by yourself. I definitely did that a couple times in law school. That was totally fine with me as well. I mean, I was invited to stuff. Made me feel like a loser. Or maybe it seemed like kind of a loser. No, I was always very cool. Anyway, have a good weekend with your loved ones if you so choose to celebrate it in any way. And that's all I really had for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.
Jimmie Lee, the Jersey outlaw.
You're huge. You just got 1 million followers, right? Correct? I saw that somewhere.
He's a dental comedian, right?
I'm a dentist.
Oh.
Always pull teeth.
I'm a dentist, and I have a passion to perform and be a comedian.
Jimmie Lee, the Jersey outlaw.
I go every week to New York. I have a bunch of social media people. We eat in these nice restaurants, and we go around the streets in Soho, and people love it.
His music album that he gives out to his patients after each visit.
I more got my mom's brains and my dad's street pizzazz. Put the dirty magazines away. We know what you're doing.
What's with dentists? They charge too much money to speak.
And Jimmie, you told me you make $15,000 a day at your dentistry.
I told him that. That's true. And I said, we have 2 teeth left. You can move to Kentucky. And he said, no. Now after you worked on the 2, I only have 1.
No, I don't have the balls to leave my job for this because I'm not making money. So for you to do that, I have to admire you. Anybody that follows their heart.
But the problem is, he kind of went behind my back and made a whole different documentary.
Oh no, he did. He went up to a girl on the street and he said something about.
He asked if she was Japanese, and she said, "No, I'm Chinese."
Oh, he
And
deleted
said,
it.
You'll be on your. And she's like, "What?
What does that mean?"
And she's like, "Yeah, no, it's like really bad."
Hey, I'm one f***ed up Dennis.
If Jimmie Lee, the Jersey outlaw, keeps going in the direction that he's going, he's going to be too famous. Fame is not always what it's set out to be.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know who Jimmie Lee is. You're just a stranger on the internet. Like,
And
he
to be
doesn't have
honest,
any of the context, man.
I think they hung up. It's almost like I'm trying to call Lou Taylor out here. Okay, what are we doing? I guess I need this. Welcome to BJ Investigates, a show I just created and might never do again. I don't know what we talked about in the last episode, but it was probably good and y'all probably let it flop, so go watch it. Thank you. Insert thumbnail. We have moved into a slightly different, I would say like $1,000 to $3,000 studio. Definitely not 10 million, but we're working our way up. Today's episode, I guess kind of a little bit different, but really not really. Same as we usually are doing over here. Today we got to talk about Dr. James Weiner, or as some of you might know him, Jimmie Lee.
He's a dental comedian, right?
I'm a dentist.
Oh.
I'm a dentist, and I have a passion to perform and be a comedian.
So now, the reason that I'm particularly talking about this guy, I know I'm gonna not bury the lead. He is often featured on the H3 podcast.
Seen you on H3.
H3. They look like H3 fans.
Jimmie Lee,
He awakens.
of Newsmax fame.
Oh, he should hear us now. Hello?
Jimmy, Jimbo.
I would like to come back onto the podcast if the audience votes me on. I like coming on.
Whose hairline is it? Work with me.
And has been for years and years. Like this dentist, I mean, I know some of y'all are like, oh, you know, dentists aren't doctors, whatever.
I'm the doctor. Doctor.
You ain't no doctor, dude. You're a f***ing dentist.
I don't want no doctor. I want the broad.
MD, DMD, whatever.
Is it a business?
Well, my dental company's called Primedent. It's in New Jersey. We have 4 locations, and
You ever heckle the people that are sitting in your chair?
well, no, I wouldn't do that. But
Come on, this is a tongue-in-cheek joke. Work with me. See, I always say work with me, Chris, but the hookers, they're different. They say with me.
I don't know. I cannot be the only person who, as like a child, you just got traumatized by the dentist, and even still as an adult, like it is one of the most vulnerable like positions to really be in. Your mouth's wide open and you have this creep telling you creepy jokes.
Here's one for you. Pick a number between 68 and 70. Really do got crooked teeth. Go home and straighten yourself out. And you know what? Clean your teeth.
Up going online and finding out that he is a prolific content creator. Insert montage.
Don't work, I take the laughing gas.
This guy pays people to write articles for him.
And he pays people to come to his shows.
He seems like a humble guy.
How long have you been this unpopular? Take a picture. Who are you?
I'm Barbara. Who are you?
I saw you in America's Most Wanted. Is that you?
No.
The pedophile. You're the pedophile.
Are you all together?
She's on that show to catch a predator.
They want to know.
You look good, hon.
Oh, yeah?
This is what happens when you come from a broken family, sir. Take a look. This is the result when you come from a broken family where the parents are in the crapper. APT. Always pull teeth. Really?
So if you're such a rich dentist, why are you coming here to help us?
I'm not a rich dentist, Lauren. I'm a up dentist.
Not only is the man a prolific content creator, but he also has made very public statements having to do with not liking to be a dentist, not getting fulfillment out of being a dentist.
So you're a dentist?
I'm a dentist.
How's that?
Fair to middling answer.
And I'm tired of the clinical end and the administrative end. I have a bunch of dentists that work for me, and I love to go on the street, and I'm a people person.
My other job I'm doing for money. Is my heart in it as it was? Not really.
Which honestly, I wouldn't either. I don't blame you if you don't get fulfillment out of it. And it does seem like probably like being online or playing music or something is a little bit more up his alley than working on people's teeth.
Are you guys ready to kick some ass? He knows it'll find his way at the Sin City, USA. Come on. My Spanish girl.
But Whatever the case may be, part of the alternative personality was talking about how much he hated being a dentist and talking about how his own friends can't go to him anymore to get their teeth fixed because his words, not mine, one of his friends only got 2 teeth left.
When Mike came in at the end, all his teeth started falling out. And he said, I think I may have to switch dentists.
Then he's like, that's okay, you can move to the Appalachian Mountains or something. It's offensive.
And I said, well, you have 2 teeth left, you can move to Kentucky. And he said, no. Now after you worked on the 2, I only have 1. Poor Mike.
Whatever the case may be, I ended up doing like a little research and come to find out some of these same people still 7 years later work in this office with him and have participated in his shenanigans online. And it's the same people that know exactly how this man is, who know exactly what this man is doing, who know exactly what this man is about and have participated in it. I also want to talk only briefly about a brand new documentary that just came out about him like less than 2 weeks ago at the time of the recording of this video. And in the documentary, we get some pretty telling information, like the man has always just wanted to be famous. I don't know.
I have to get famous and be really well known before I die because no one will remember me as a dentist. But I need to carry a legacy on where people remember me as the guy in the street that was the wise guy, the funny guy, but a good guy. And I need to know everybody knows me and loves me.
I'm not really sure, but in the documentary, you end up finding out some information about whether or not Jimmie/James pays his employees.
I'm trying to make this happen for Jimmie, but he's got to be open to change. I think he's too married to the idea that he's funny.
How much does all of this cost? The social media guys, they're not
well, I don't pay my people. They just find me and they want to hang with me and film with me, and I take everybody out to eat. I'm just nice. And the 2 post-production people, Mason and his wife that work full-time, they're paid. We just have a team of people now on the back end, and we have people helping, but they're working every day. They're giving me content to put up every day. They're editing videos. They're doing everything.
You have a team of how many people?
We have 3 publicity people and 4 social media people.
No, you do not.
Wait, what?
You have 7 people working for you?
Yes. They work like full-time for me almost.
I don't know, I'll just roll the tapes.
I have built by people coming to me. I don't find them. They all find me. They work for free because they want to vibe with me and they hang out. And they do a ton of work.
But it seems pretty weird that these people are just working for free and they're like very young and like they're trying to kind of like tell Jimmie what to do and what to say and stuff. Like,
yeah, so when I first started working with him, obviously I was like, what am I getting into, dude? This is crazy. Now that it's like a year in, the enthusiasm has rolled back a little bit. The reality set in, and I look at it more like almost like he's a business partner in a way, if that makes any sense.
Jimmie, say it like this. I have a comedy show at the comedy shop. You better be there, you sons of bitch.
All right, tell me what.
Let me just say, you're making yourself look like an amateur in front of these amateur comedians.
I am an amateur. Believe me.
I
am an amateur.
You don't listen to people. And it's really hard when we're filming and then you don't listen. So
I'm just really not sure what their motivation could be if they're really not getting paid, but there's a whole bunch of drama. We're not going to get into it, but I just want to give y'all a little update. Like, there's a whole bunch of drama about this new documentary because apparently Jimmie had told somebody else that he was going to let them do the documentary. Now this other guy ended up doing the documentary. I really do not know.
I don't know, Jim, if I'm being honest, I think that you should have let him know that you were doing another documentary.
It's unrealistic for you to expect him, a serious documentarian, by the way. I don't know if you watched the one on Boogie. It's really, really good. It has 1.5 million views. How much does your documentary have, by the way?
You have 1.5 million views, Mike?
Yeah.
Well, then you have to do my documentary.
And, when he got to the top, I got kicked to the curb.
Well, I really bonded, Alex, with you a lot till I got wronged by you a few times. Okay, that's why I backed off.
Jimmie,
like my brother. You're a lot like my brother.
It's drama going on with that.
I want to give you that fame that you want, but it's a multi-step process. It's not just the movie, it's the movie, and then it's another project.
And as the final thought, I do just want to say, I think we should still stay being careful about like calling for people to lose their licenses. Although I did look up his license and it does appear that he may have some disciplinary action. I'm not really sure about that, but a lot of times whenever doctors or dentists or lawyers or whoever professionals are doing stuff that people don't like, or they're not doing a good job at their job, people are very quick to call for them them to like lose their license. I'm not going to be doing that. I definitely have like said stuff like that in the past, but I just don't really believe in that. What I do believe in is transparency and accountability. So I believe that Dr. James Weiner should be transparent about his true thoughts and beliefs about the practice of dentistry. At least he should at least be saying, look, I don't like doing this. I don't get anything out of it. Like, you know what I mean? If he's going to go out and say that so publicly anyway, I do think that his patients should be privy to that information and should be allowed to know that information and accountability. So I'm not asking, I'm not advocating, I'm not propositioning for the man to lose his license or his livelihood. I think he should be able to practice, but I definitely think people should be fully informed and consent before they go to this doctor, this dentist, or any practitioner that is so open about their views and their beliefs publicly that they're, you know, and on top of all that, we're not going to be able to play all these clips because it's probably going to get us restricted.
Are you guys Hong Kong Chinese or?
We're not Chinese.
Son of a. You got a boyfriend?
I am gay.
I could do the operation and switch. I don't mind. I'm a lesbian.
You're in the right office for that.
But there is some, just go and do some research on Yon. I mean, the man has probably hundreds of hours of videos out. He goes on the H3 podcast all the time.
If I stuck this lighter in my mouth right now, which I won't, that would be like.
What I find
He
interesting.
sounded chauvinistic, to be honest.
Right.
A little bit.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Anything about the camera guy?
Camera guys, it's his first job and last job. I mean, the lens cap's still on, Sarkis. You got to do a little something.
I'm new. I'm not part of the H3 universe. Or
You're not part of H3?
No, I never.
And I'm not even saying like anything bad about H3 or anything going on over there. First of all, really, I'm not a regular viewer of the show. I've seen clips here and there out of context, but I just never really got on the bandwagon or whatever. I know a lot of y'all watch them, but that, again, that's not how I found out about him. It just so happens they like have him on. Seems like they actually also, from what I've seen, kind of like know what the guy's about anyway.
Jimmie Lee, as you guys know, continues to have a rough redemption arc. Tried getting a Jimmie Lee cameo for my friend, but he was too busy. Did you hear that one, Dan?
Can we get more cocktails,
"Baby,
Sark?
where'd you park your camel?" or something.
Can I get more cocktails?
Jesus. He was trying to outdo what?
I posted two images, and Zach mentioned it, so I sent him the images. Now they're Andrea's
Now,
images.
I have
They're
a question for
before
you,
and after.
Jimmy.
Yes.
I have a question. If you look at her before and look at your before, it looks like you edited your before image.
Well, you'd have to ask Mason, because Mason had the images. So Mason may have played around a little.
So
That's
somebody airbrushed your before.
That could have been Mason.
Yeah, this is not about H3. This is not about them. All peace and love over there to them. No criticism about them at all.
Jimmy, which one is the before and which one's the after? Not to be rude.
Dan, help me. Where's Dan?
Oh, I'm here. I was
obviously
because you photoshopped out like all your pores and wrinkles.
Mason's ass out if he that image up too much.
So I genuinely didn't know which was the.
Just so happens that this story came across my actual real life and they're kind of intertwined in it, but I have nothing to say about them. I have nothing bad to say about them at all. So anyway, so I don't really know what my point of this video was other than literally awareness, because the man has taken very extensive steps to be a public figure. It's obvious that he wants to be famous.
Make $15,000 a day at your dentistry. If we're talking about how much money someone makes on something.
I never said I didn't say that. I did say that. I told him that. That's true.
Are you making $15,000 a day even now? You mentioned that business is down.
Not often, but I said I have good days.
Oh, okay.
You called me the other day and said you made $18,000 for the day, Jimmy. You said I'm the biggest earner here. Nobody earns more than me. Did you not say that?
I did say I'm the biggest.
Wait, what? Hold on. What? What was the context of that?
I guess my main thing is like, I'm not trying to get anybody to lose their license or their livelihood or their ability to make money. And I strongly believe in people's First Amendment right to free speech, make jokes, joke about offensive stuff. Even if I find it offensive, that's fine. Really, that's fine. It's not, but you have a right to do it. I'll say that. What I don't think you have the right to do is. That's pretty much all I have for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.
Does the red dot
The red dot.
signify your Indian faith? And she said, no, I've been shot. Call 911. Italian or Jewish?
I'm Cuban.
Cuban?
Yeah.
Let me see your papers.
One more thing.